Good afternoon and welcome to the Citadel Football Weekly Press Conference for week number 6. The Bulldogs now 3-2 and 1-2 in Southern Conference play. Citadel this week number 22 in the coaches poll, 23 in the stats media poll. Bulldogs have now been ranked for 26 consecutive weeks and host number 5 Wofford here on Saturday at 6 p.m. at Johnson Haygood Stadium. Cadet athletes with us today: quarterback Dom Allen, 9-8 as a starter here at the Citadel, and Miles Pierce, who had 10 tackles in Saturday's game against Mercer. At this time, I'll ask Coach Thompson to come up to the podium. He'll start our press conference with an opening statement and then take questions.
Thank you, Zeke. Well, as most of you probably know, we didn't expect to be here after 5 weeks of the season. We're 3-2. Obviously, it's not the worst thing in the world. We've got an opportunity to get back on track this week. Once again, we're at home. We've got a very, very good opponent. We've got an opponent that we know a lot about. And the Mercer game, it just didn't go the way that we wanted it to go or went. And I thought defensively we played well enough to win the game. Gave up a couple plays here and there. May have left them on the field a little bit too long, and that's what happens when you turn the ball over. And I thought the 4 turnovers were in critical situations. Obviously, one in the red zone, one just as we crossed the 50-yard line, one late in the game, and then there's another one in there that you can't have in order to stay on the field and maintain that. So once again, it was just too much possession time. For the first time in a while, we lost the possession time. I got to hand it to Mercer. I thought Mercer did a good job of defending us. They played it tight. They made us drive the field, and we just couldn't drive the field. It seemed like once we had a big play or a play go our way, once again it was just the next play was just set us back another couple of yards, and that got us off track a little bit. So it was difficult. I saw some really good things out there. Wide receiver plays getting better. For those of you that like to see the ball in the air, it certainly was in the air plenty of times. We threw and caught the ball fairly well. Some of those younger wide receivers are making some pretty good plays. Don made some pretty good throws in there. So that was a little bit of the highlight of the day. I thought we played hard on offense. It just didn't work out where we could hold on to the ball long enough. Defensively, we're mixing a lot of new defensive linemen in there. They're getting a lot of experience, doing a good job in there. Secondary-wise, I don't think they completed a couple out balls, a couple deep out balls, but we pressured enough. We got in the quarterback's face enough to where we kept the ball in front of us for most of the day. We let out one draw play that was pretty long. But other than that, I thought the defense played extremely well. We've got Wofford this week, top 5 opponent, coming into our house. A team that we know extremely well. Sometimes they call them a mirror image of us. We do things very similar, very fundamental oriented. A team that's always been able to move the football. A team that's been able to play fundamental defense, play with us. We've got to work it out for us, and we're extremely hard to be able to move the ball on them and try to stop them from running the football on us. Typically, we've defended them fairly well. Veteran group, both offense and defense. Lost a running back from last year, but they've got another good running back. Both quarterbacks are back, and their offensive line got a couple of replacements, but they're in good shape. Defense about the same group that they've had the last year, almost 2 years. Some have been replaced the last 2 years. Defensive line-wise, very, very experienced, know what they're doing, move around extremely well, and it'll be a pretty good matchup for our younger offensive line. Any questions?
Oh, Jeff, did you want to? Go ahead. With the 2 straight losses, it is Wofford week. It is a top 5 opponent. Is that something that helps to kind of get things back on track because it's going to demand so much focus, or is that something that, good gracious, we don't want this to snowball? How do you look at it?
No, I don't know that it makes a difference of who we play this week. Just the fact that we're going to get another opportunity to play, another opportunity to get a win. The fact that it is Wofford. Yeah, they're a top 5 team, and we'll certainly be up to play them. And like I said, I thought we defend them fairly well. We just got to figure out a way to move the ball on them, and I think that'll help.
Brent, Wofford has won a string of very close games this year. What does that tell you about their team?
First of all, they know how to win. They were a lot like us last year, winning tight ball games, never really get too panicked about it. The first game was on for 2 conversion. They're in overtime last week. So I think they're very settled in what they're doing. They're obviously well coached, and eventually what ends up happening is Coach Lang will find a system and he'll be able to get the offense going.
Brent, at least at the start of the season here, the previous games, do you see you guys kind of getting the best shot from some of these teams coming off, back-to-back championships?
Of course, I think that's natural. We would do that, and if we go back to the Chattanooga game of last year, I thought we gave them our very best and came out on top of that one. But yeah, that's the way we approached that game because they beat us the year before, and we felt like we owed them something. So yeah, there's no doubt that we're certainly getting everybody's best, and as we should.
But then this week, is it almost not quite a reverse? But I mean, you kind of have to be the hungrier Hunter team. There's
Absolutely.
Wofford out there, and what's that like? What's that?
Absolutely. Well, it puts us in a little bit better of a situation where we've got the ability to go out there and obviously knock somebody off. We're certainly not the favorite in this group right here, but we're going to certainly be up to play these guys, that's for sure.
Brent, given where you are with experience on the offensive line, what can you do to help these guys produce more on Saturday, produce more points and yards? What can you do to help them?
Well, to be honest with you, Jeff, is the hard part is experience. Like you said, is experience comes from playing, and what they need right now, I can't give them. However, we are giving it to them every single week in experience, and they're learning from it. We can tell them all we want. We can show them on film, but until all the moving parts and move as fast as they do in the game, they're not going to figure it out. 3 years ago, we were in the same situation. We played for the same offensive line for about 3 years now. Or previous to this year. So I think this year is just one of those learning years for our offensive line. We'll continue to get better. To be honest with you, I thought they played very well. We've, of course, had a couple of missed assignments, and we had a missed block here and there. But really, to be honest with you, we played a lot better from the way we played against Sanford.
The slow starts, what can you do to kind of
That's a great, I thought we got out to a pretty quick start out here, and we just crossed over the 50. Trying to make an extra play. Raleigh makes a great catch, great move, and we're getting about 4 or 5 yards. We're about ready to cross the 50-yard line, and that's when that whole first drive kind of it deflated us. There's no doubt about it. I think we threw the ball. We tossed the ball out there on the first play. And the second play, we throw the ball down the field. We're about ready to cross the 50-yard line, and here we are. We're moving at a pretty good rate, and then you just turn the ball over. So I think we tried to get off to a faster start, and then that, of course, when you turn the ball over, that kind of deflates you, and it deflated our whole team. I think, unfortunately, we've got to be able to rally from that.
You guys lost your last 2 games last year, but this is sort of the first, losing streak, 2-game losing streak that you've had as a head coach. How's it affected you? Are you obsessing about it, or how are you handling it?
Well, it's always tough on Sundays. Sunday's always the day that you start to question everything that you did in the previous week. Mondays are kind of one of those days where you settle back down into this is where we are at. This is where we are right now. We just need to get better and keep on doing what we're doing. If you start to have dramatic changes and those kind of things, it sends the wrong message to your team. It sends the message that, maybe this wasn't working, try this, and you're kind of scatterbrained on that. Really, we're just staying the course and focusing on one game at a time, just like we did last year. We're not doing anything differently offensively or defensively. We just got to get better. Can't turn the ball over and play better.
It seemed like Mercer did a really good job of protecting the edges. They didn't let Cam kind of get out and do that. How do you counteract that whenever they kind of set the edges and force you inside a little bit more?
One particular is the toss play is, we try to get the ball on the perimeter as best we can. The other play that we do is we've got to do a little bit better job, and I thought we executed the veer a couple of times when we got the ball pitched to the perimeter a few times out there. And I thought Dominique was doing a good job of executing it out there, and with all the moving parts, it was a pretty good play. In fact, the one that we got all the way out there that Cam did get on the perimeter and unfortunately fumbled at the end of the carry. Was an option play. So all we've got to do is we've got to be able to establish the fullback a little bit more to help the perimeter out, get the ball to the perimeter a little bit with our option game.
Speaking of the fullback, are you going to start Brandon Berry and go with him and see how that works and live with his freshmanitis, or what's your thought there?
Continue to start Brandon Rainey and then kind of keep on moving Brandon Berry in there. He's doing a great job in there. He's learning a lot as he goes. Brandon gives us some stability, especially at the beginning of the game. I think we'll be fine with that. But yeah, I do like the way that he's progressed and he's grasped to the offense and he knows what he's doing.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, now ask senior quarterback Dom Allen to come up. I said earlier, 19.
I'll ask you what I asked Coach. Given where you guys are with experience on offensive line, how can the unit function better to produce more on Saturdays?
Well, we just gotta, like Coach Thompson said, we can't turn the ball over as many times as we did. When you have 4 turnovers, you're seriously cutting your chances of winning that ball game at a tremendously high rate. So I think if we take care of our own on the back end of taking care of the ball, getting the ball where it needs to be, we'll be just fine. Like Coach Thompson said, those front 5 played a pretty good game from what I saw. We didn't have too many run-throughs, not a whole lot of backers popping gaps on us and whatnot, and if they did, they took care of it. So I thought they played a really good game, but it just comes down to we got to keep them up, keep them going, and just take care of the football.
As a team leader and a veteran of teams that have won 2 conference championships, how frustrating is this period now to go through?
It's pretty frustrating just because we have set the bar so high for ourselves. We have such high expectations of what we expect to happen on Saturdays, and we've gotten used to high productivity, having those high yardage games where we're running the ball for 350 yards a game. And for the last 2 or 3 games, we've probably only averaged maybe 150, 180 or so. So it's pretty frustrating for us right now. We're just not in that groove that we usually are in. We just got to keep pressing, keep coming to work every day. The only thing we can do is just wake up the next day and come to work. So we just got to keep moving through it. Things are going to go our way one day, and when they do, I believe it's going to be a pretty good game for us.
Dom, obviously you guys want to try to fight for extra yards and get as much as you can, but that's obviously kind of where you're susceptible to fumbles. How do you walk that balance, I guess, of trying to get the extra yards but protecting the ball at the same time?
During halftime on Saturday, Coach Thompson said we can't press too hard because, like he said, that's tend to where those mistakes come in play. So we just got to play our game, do what we do, play our position, just take care of the little things, and everything will work out for us. If we play with great technique and great fundamentals, we'll move the ball on anyone and move it up and down the field and get in the box. So we just got to play our game, do what we do day in, day out, and just stick to it.
Now that you're facing a little adversity, the 2-game streak or whatever, do you like that you get Wofford as the next opponent, that they've got that target that you guys have been feeling for a while?
Right. I mean, it's not really as much of a target as much of it's the next game. It's another opportunity for us to go out on Saturday in front of our home fans in Johnson-Haygood for us to come out and compete and have the opportunity to kind of snap, I guess, if you want to call it a losing streak. So it's another opportunity for us to come out here and go to work and kind of get ourselves back in that groove that we need to be in. So that's all we're looking forward to, is just kind of coming back, fixing things up, getting everybody sounding on the same page, getting the game plan installed, and moving on to Saturday.
I guess maybe a tale of 2 tapes. What are your memories of playing Wofford last year?
It was a really, really close game at their place during the regular season. Khalid came up huge on that big play for, what was it, the pitch 6, I guess is what they were calling it. So that was a tremendous play by him. And then also down here when they came to play us at our place in the playoff game, I thought we moved the ball pretty well and fairly decent. We just couldn't get in the end zone, kind of similar to what's happening to us right now. So we gotta get everything together, get our game plan in order, and come out here and play with great fundamentals and technique, and do what we do, move the ball and run the ball and pound it down at them.
Now, I mean, I guess that's the last taste you had of last season.
Right.
It's kind of a bitter taste. Do you guys think of Wofford at all in the offseason leading up to the season just because that was the last game you played?
Yeah, it definitely is a game that we kind of focus on because, I thought we had a great opportunity of going pretty deep in the playoffs last year. We had a heck of a squad with some great seniors on that team last year. And it just turned out they had a day that day. So we definitely want to come back out here, play our part, and just come out here and play a good game.
Thank you, Dom.
You said kind of Wofford last year, that was really the first time the offense struggled to move the football. Did something change from what they did in that first game, or I guess are people kind of copying what they did to you guys in the playoffs this year?
It kind of seems that way, that teams are kind of starting to copy what they did to us in that playoff game. But, their offense is very similar to us, so they're very keyed in to what we do, and they know exactly what we do, what ways we want to attack them. And they got a great linebacking core, and their front defensive line is outstanding as well. So they have a tremendous defense over there, and it helps that they know what they're doing. We just kind of got to be better. We just got to find ways to find their weaknesses where we can attack them better, find ways where we can get leverage and just attack the field and whatnot. So I feel like if we can find those angles, we'll be just fine.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. All right, our last cadet athlete is senior linebacker Miles Pierce. We'll open it to questions.
I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but when you come off on the defensive end and you see the offense put the ball on the ground 4, 5, 6 times, is it kind of frustrating to have to turn around and go right back out there and defend your own end?
No, we don't look at it as frustrating. We look at it as a defensive unit, as another opportunity to go out there and make a play for our team, just giving our guys on the defense another opportunity to prove themselves and put great film on for other teams to see how we're playing as a defense.
Miles, you guys were on the field for more snaps than you have been all season. Does it feel different during the game? Can you tell that that's happening?
We can tell when we're not getting off the field as much as we can. We're giving up third downs or long plays on first and second down that we shouldn't be giving up, and that's what compiles the plays and building up to ending the game with 70-plus snaps on the defensive end. It does take a wear on you, but at the same time, we're great condition. We have great conditioning staff, so we're prepared to do that as well.
Miles, everybody says you guys in Wofford's on offense are like sort of mirror images. What from playing against your team in practice all the time in Wofford? What's the subtle differences between the two offenses?
The subtle differences, they do so much more stuff in the gun. They go a lot of two-back and do a lot of veer out of the guns and things of that nature, which our offense does a little bit of, but not as much as they do. There's more I would say more their offense than getting in the true triple option formation that they have. So.
Any sort of payback feeling with this game, trying to get back at them after what they did to you guys last year?
It's not. I don't look at it as a payback feeling, but it is a game that we definitely have some more things going into that we definitely want to push to win a little bit more than some other ones that we have. But at the end of the day, it is another game. It's another week, and we just need to get a win. So.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Miles. That'll do it for today. If anyone needs anything on the side, let me know.